Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Art is full of time and temperatures. Art's talking, but he's got his mic muted.
Thank you.
I could see the lips moving, but I was like, nope.
Well, let me go shut off this virtual screen. Okay. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
you're nice and loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, my green screen is out for editing, I guess you should say. The original green screen is 9 wide and 15 long. Well, needless to say, I don't have 15-foot ceilings here, so and I've been using having it just lay on the floor, and it doesn't lay very smoothly. So it's going out to have a seamstress chop it in half, and so hopefully that will work. On the other hand, that will not be done before we leave, because we are, as of this time next week, if everything goes okay, we'll be in Milford.
Cool.
So at any rate, that's the plan.
The old
Okay.
the old computer had a different camera. You could see here where my green screen just kind of stops.
Yeah.
Well, the old camera never saw that, or the old computer never saw that. The new camera, or the new computer, has a wider angle and a better camera. It's a true 1080p camera instead of a 720p camera.
So this is built into the screen.
It's built into my desktop. Yeah,
Okay.
I've got an all-in-one. I buy all-in-ones. I know,
No.
but yes, it's basically a laptop computer that's not a laptop.
Well, basically you sprung for the tower, the monitor, and the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your desktops would come with a keyboard and mouse, but yeah, there's just not a lot of room here, and there hasn't been in most of the places I live. So I started buying these all-in-one units, and I actually like them. They don't take up a whole lot of room. They work good, but
So this one works really good, I take it.
this one works really good. Yes, 12 cores will work really well.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that's where I actually splurged. Was I didn't go cheap this time. I went with the 12 cores.
I tend to be on the cheap side, or so Barbara says. So you know,
Well, I went the past I don't know, past 4 or 5 machines I've had have been Intels, and this one, of course, is an AMD. And I've always liked AMD. Then they got off track for a while, and now they're back, and they're really good.
well,
And Steve's falling over.
is the puppy there today, Steve? He's
Yes.
on. He's on.
I'm unmuted now. Yeah, she's messing with things that she knows she isn't supposed to.
Well, she knows you're preoccupied. That's the thing.
Yep.
Hello, Mr. Jim.
Howdy.
I thought we were going to be live this week.
No, we knew Leroy wasn't going to make it, so I asked if we wanted to go virtual. We said, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, the second Wednesday of each month is going to be bad for me, so I'm going to have to stay home at least the second Wednesday of each month.
You can see into the future. I can see into your
I
future.
just know that the second Wednesday of each month, I don't know anything else.
So
I
is
knew-
how's your granddaughter doing?
Oh, she's a whippersnapper. She's out there playing Minecraft right now, so
Okay.
she's having a
Well.
good old time. She's entertaining herself, and
Keep 'em-
unless I hear loud crashes, I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Yeah. Keep them fed, not sleep deprived, and occupied, and they behave themselves.
Yeah, yeah. She knows what she can and can't do. Of course, that doesn't always work out the right way, but she knows that she's not supposed to do some stuff.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, she actually gets after Patty every now and then, because Patty will be doing something I told her not to do, and it's like, Mammal, Papple said don't do that. What the heck are you doing, Jim?
Well, he's got a magnifying glass. I guess he's trying to see something on the screen.
I didn't think I could be more beautiful if I used my magnifying glass.
Oh, okay. Well, we wouldn't want
I
to.
didn't think it was possible. Yeah, I know you didn't think that was possible either. I've been finding my E1 cameras, my Reolink E1 cameras, used ones for 25 bucks a piece. So now I'm proud owner of 4 new used ones. All of them good.
Now, is the one that you use for the hummingbirds, is that an E1?
I think.
That one's got a solar cell on it also.
No, that was a Argus 2.
Argus 2.
Yeah, Argus. Yeah, I think it's Argus 2. Yeah. Yeah. And it is now proclaimed dead.
Proclaimed dead.
Yeah. I got it used, and I learned my lesson. Don't buy the newer stuff. Used. Yeah, it's an Argus 2, and that I don't think they sell the Argus 2 anymore. They went to the Argus Lumis. I don't see them around. They may, but it started acting squirrely, and if you don't have a charger on it, it goes away. And I charged the battery, and it comes up and it's alive. But if you unplug the battery, it goes away. And if the solar cell, if I put the solar cell on it, I'm sure if the sun was up, it would work. I probably need to try that. But if the sun was not there, I'm not sure it'd work. I need to try that. But anyhow,
So it sounds like the batteries died.
well, I charged the battery up manually.
But maybe it's not taking a charge. Who knows? At any rate, is a battery removable?
On that unit, no.
Okay.
Now, I do have another Argus wire-free one that is down in the woods. It's been down there for a couple of months now, and it seems to be doing okay. I've got some of the leaves have fallen, and it's getting enough sunlight. I was able to catch a fox there the other day.
Really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
It's a 2 megapixel, I think, and it does a pretty good job. But I see deer, and then we caught the fox last week, I guess it was. But it's wire free. It's out there like 150 feet, so it's doing okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good range.
Yeah,
Is that 2.5 gig or 5.0 gig?
it's 2.5 gigahertz, 2.4.
2.4.
Yeah, it's okay, but that area, I would tread softly in that area if you're not going to buy a new one, particularly. This one doesn't do the broadcast to you if it's triggered. So you just have to go and download it. You don't know if it's got anything or not. You just go and look at it. But it's, yeah, all the Reolink E1 Pros that I got, those are the 5 gigahertz and 4 megapixels. All of those are great, perfect.
Now, is Argus a brand of Reolink, or is it separate companies?
I think they may have bought somebody's something or other, but it's now part of their regular package. But I would pay close attention to them. Yeah.
What are those getting you for used?
It's like $80 for the Argus 2, I think it was. The new one is about $100, a little right at $100. But I would check if you go to buy one, let me know, and let me check it out, because I want to make sure they have the notification, because that's important to me. That's kind of nice.
That this notification goes to your cell phone or what?
Yeah, goes just, yeah, cell phone.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Let's see if Leroy's got screen sharing set up for us.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah, he's on top of us today.
Okay.
Yeah, I was planning today.
Yeah. So this is the Argus. I think that's the Argus 2. Yeah, that's the Argus 2. Let's see the Argus 3 over here. He's not connected right now. I could connect him, and he's on the charger. See, the battery's showing full. Battery's charged. I'll put the solar cell back on and see if it acts better. But the Argus 2, that's a decent picture. That's live right there.
Yeah, that's great.
Out in the woods.
That's not currently on a solar cell though, right?
Yes.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it's been on the solar cell for like 2 weeks now. And
Okay.
it's hanging in there. Let's see, we can do this and do battery. And the green means I think it's doing okay. It's below the threshold level, and the Argus 2 does have a removable battery, but the battery will cost you $39 because it's got electronics in it. But that's okay, you know. But yeah, this one does okay.
So does that store enough energy so you get some night vision too?
Oh yeah, this has got PIR, the the motion detection, people detection. So yeah, it will come on, and in fact, if I access it in the middle of the night, it has a floodlight built in. It wakes up everybody in the woods. So
Now, is the floodlight on a separate battery, the same battery?
same battery. Yeah, you don't want to be looking around at night with the floodlight. I don't know if you can turn it off at night. I do turn it off in general, but you might be able to turn it off at night. But it's a little squirrely. Yeah, if you're going to get I don't know if they still have the Argus 2. Yeah, status LED. Oh, it's got a status LED. Of course, you turn that off. Infrared lights are on auto. I don't see the floodlight. I do know that it does turn on if I turn it on at night. If I look at these cameras in the middle of the night, the light comes on. So it's a little squirrely. These early ones, these are early models. I consider them early models.
Now, these are all 2 megapixel.
This one is 2 megapixel. Yeah, I think this one's 2 megapixel. Let's see if I can get this guy connected. And another thing about them too is they won't automatically connect. You have to select them and say, I want to look at this, because you don't want them on all the time. Okay, that's kind of crooked, huh? That's an Argus 3. It's not looking so good, but it's kind of in a bad position.
I was going to say it looks a little fuzzy.
Yeah, the Argus 3 picture is actually better than the Argus 2. And Argus 2 is not shabby. It's okay.
Well, now doesn't look to me like there's any foliage left there, so it's pretty much wide out in the open as far as the sun goes, huh?
Yeah, the sun is to the left of you, so you really don't have a good idea. But there's brush back into the left of me, so I'm kind of happy that it's getting enough sun. If I put the solar cell up there, I'd get plenty of sun in the morning, particularly. But I'm near ground level and in a bad position, so I'm pleased with it thus far. But you know, up out in the woods, you got brush all over the place. I'm kind of happy with it.
So is this one that's low enough down that deer come and lick it from time to time?
Yeah, this is the one that they licked. Yeah, right where it was. They came up and licked it. Yeah. That's decent for a woods camera. That's not bad, but it doesn't do notifications and other stuff that I like. So be aware. But if you just want to track animals, that's fine. It's a trail cam. It's a remote trail cam.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't have much in the way of animals here in Fremont.
Not four-legged animals anyway.
Well, we have the occasional neighbor's cat. We're all fenced in here. Little lots are so small. These lots are like 6,000 square feet. And so everybody has fences all the way around their house. But in the front of the house opens out to the street, and their fences come in. It's a box. It goes across the back, down the sides, and comes into the house right before the front of the house. And then the face of the house faces out to the street. But that's the way you get your privacy. Otherwise, it's like living in a New York apartment. you know what's going on in your apartment and all your nearest neighbors, so. So Steve, your puppy lost interest or went off to eat?
She went upstairs. I think she's outside now.
Can she go in and out by herself?
No, Marla's up there. But she has toys down here in the bedroom and
I see.
she
Okay.
enjoys being down here a lot.
Leroy, what are you doing?
Well, I was trying to show what I've been working on. I don't know if we're going to watch it not work now. So we could kind of see. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, Christmas lights.
That
Oh,
it's cheer lights. So if you tweet a different color, it will change colors on you. There, somebody just changed the color. And then I've got 4 or 5 different animation patterns. Somebody changed the color again. Now it's kind of purple. Or it looks kind of purple. But now, of
So-
course, I want to show it and it's being ornery.
so these are multicolor LED lights?
Mm-hmm. There's some of those addressable WS2811 lights connected to an ESP32.
And what's talking to the ESP32?
It's connected to Wi-Fi, and the Cheerlight project has a MQTT broker set up that basically just zoxes out all the colors when somebody changes the color. So if I go, I'm going to stop this for a second. If I go, no, I'm not. If I go to I don't know what I'm doing. Hang on. If I go here to Twitter, maybe. Come on. Come on, computer. What are we doing? There we go. And I go hashtag cheer light, and I type, or lights, it's got to be lights, and I type a different color in. It's purple right now, and I type in green, and I say send, and then I stop sharing, and I go back to that. It takes a second. As soon as this animation's done, it should be green.
Or
Hmm.
I'd ignore you.
Or I'm wondering if it's having a hard time connecting to the broker. Yeah, that's still purple. Either that or somebody changed it back to purple real fast. Which happens because, I mean, millions of people could use it at once.
So this is kind of a community project?
Yeah, Well, cheer lights has been around for a long time. And they connected it to Twitter so that everybody in the world could tweet a color, change a color. And now it's green. Of course, I turn off my thing. Now it's green. It started like during Christmas, and the guy made it so, you know, to change community lights all around the world. And it's gone strong. I used it for Halloween one year. I put it in, and you could do like orange and different purple and orange and whatever. And I had it inside of a pumpkin one year, the lights inside of a pumpkin. So there's a lot of just different stuff. It's cheerlights.org, I think, is the project. Let's cheerlights.com. But now my trees. No.
So is everybody's tree green right now?
Everybody who is using cheer lights right now, it's orange. Somebody changed it to orange. Somebody heard me say orange and changed it. So yes. If you're connected to the Cheer Lights project.
Well, good. Yeah.
Okay, here we
Uh-oh,
go.
that's a clue.
I have no
Says-
idea what happened.
Well, you disappeared.
Obviously, something happened, and I don't really know what. Let me get
Cheer lights did you in.
Cheer Lights did me in. And I lost my virtual background.
Yeah, you sure did.
I lost all kinds of stuff. We'll go with that one. And I was getting ready to copy the link into the chat, but now I'm not sure that I'm going to do that.
Well, you think that's what did you in?
I don't know. I went to the Cheer Lights website and everything just kind of got broken. In
Well, I've
fact, my
got the-
browser's still kind of frozen.
I've got the Cheer Lights live window up here, but it's not seeing. It's just a blank. It's like the.
Yeah, they've done something. So I'm going to have to probably kill the browsers. See if I can.
Okay. Looks like Mike Lau's trying to get in. Oh, there he is.
Hi.
We can
Howdy.
see the bottom of your face, Mike. We can't see the top of your head.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Did you get your printer?
I got my printer and I'm working on my issue on Linux. I got cups is running and everything, but I keep getting an error message. So I'll keep working on it. And then once I'm ready to surrender, if I am, I'll, the printer works perfect, the one that's plugged in, but I still haven't gotten the network printer to work, and I want to get it to work. But if I can't do it, I'll get it, but I want to slug it out. I'm on a mission.
Okay.
But the things I've been reading about Linux network printers is sometimes it gives you problems, and I don't understand it because it was working. Then I took my Zytel modem back and I got these Eros in and it quit working. It shouldn't have to, I mean, it sees it out there. Alexa sees my printers out there. You go over to the printer, it works fine if you do a test print, but it doesn't, you know. They're not talking to each other.
So what distribution of Linux are you using?
Mint 20 something.
What kind of printer?
Well, the one that I got is a 2750, the one that's plugged in, but the other one is a Brother 2740 laser printer DW. And Mike Beck told him I got it working last December, and I've had troubles with it and got it to work, but now it's like, you know, like I said, Alexa sees it out there and everything, but it's not, I get an error, you know, I got all that stuff, the IP address in there, and it says cups is not working. It gives me an error message.
Are you sure you have the right IP address?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I get what the printer, unless there's an IP address that I need for the Eero, and I can look on, do I need the router IP address too?
No.
I didn't think so.
What I would recommend, if you can, have the router assign a name to the printer and associate the IP address with the name, and then print to the name. That way, if the IP address changes, it should still work.
Okay, I know what you're saying, but like right here, when I look at Eero, I pull settings up.
So the name knows the MAC address then, does it, Steve?
Well,
It's got a
no,
WAN.
but the
It's
name
got a,
stays the same if the IP address changes, and the router will forward to the correct IP address.
Okay.
What
I mean, if I look at my Eero settings and I look at network settings, I got the WAN IP address in there, a gateway Eero IP address. Let me play with it some more. What I do is I work on it until I'm about ready to throw it out the window, then I do something else. But I'm learning a lot about other things, trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why it's. But maybe I'll come to the next, maybe the next Linux meeting, and hopefully I'll have it solved. If I'm not, I'll have a list of questions for you.
That works. Next meeting is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, it was supposed to be this coming Saturday, but I messed that up.
Okay, it's still up. It's over in Madeira, isn't it? The library.
Madeira, yeah. Madeira,
I haven't been there in a while. But so I am running Windows here. The other thing is I've got a VirtualBox session. Worked fine. Now I get in and press the session. The black screen comes up, Linux boots. It says it's running, and then the cursor's there flashing. I've been working on that too. It's the black screen with a flashing cursor. I can't do anything. And that's with it in this Windows box running virtual box running Linux Mint, whatever.
Turn off hardware acceleration.
Hardware, is that in Windows?
In VirtualBox for
Okay.
the VM.
Turn off hardware acceleration. Okay, I'll write that down.
Yeah, give that a try, and if that helps, let me know, and I can give you some other advice.
If worse comes to worse, you can get on my machine remotely and look at it, can't you?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay. Turn off hardware acceleration. And that was working fine for over a year, and now it's not working. How comes these gremlins can't happen once in a while and things at work get broken and you don't know why?
It's to encourage you to stay in school and learn more about it.
You said it was a 2400,
2470.
2470.
Do you know much about Eero?
No.
It was bought by Amazon, but I got one Eero in the front here, one Eero in the bedroom. And I used to have a Zytel with like an extender. And now that I've got those Eeros in here, my signal never drops, and it's still at 250.
How is that spelled?
EERO. I highly recommend it. Was easy to install. And it says 1500 range. It's an Eero 6 Plus, which goes up to 1 gigabyte as far as there's Eero Pros, but that's kind of overkill. Goes up to 2 gigabytes. But I got one Eero Plus here, which is the main gateway, and I've got the other one wireless hooked up in the bedroom. And that says 1500, but that's, you know, with no walls and all that crap. So I kind of bought, since my apartment's maybe 1,000 square feet or a little over 1,000 square feet, but that signal stretches. I never get a drop signal where I did before. Even with the extender, I would get, it would go fade and my switches wouldn't work right. But I highly recommend them. You download the app onto the phones, because when you disconnect and then you use the phone to connect your cell tower, and the cell tower recognizes it, and it took 10 minutes to 10 minutes to install.
Have you installed the Linux drivers for your printer?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I have. I've done both ways. I've installed the Linux drivers, and I've installed cups. Tried to do a direct install. And there's something about the IPP, which is the override. So sometimes you have to turn that off for driverless printers. And I'm getting into all that crap that I'm getting kind of granular, but I'm learning a lot.
You shouldn't need to do anything with that printer other than run the installer and answer the questions.
Yeah, that's
Though,
what I.
At this
Yeah.
point, it may help to uninstall it and reinstall it.
That's
Because when you uninstall it, it removes if you've made any mistakes, it removes them.
Yeah.
Installing it will then fix it. For that
Okay.
printer, if you've got it networked and you know for certain what the IP address is,
Yep.
it should just be install.
The IP address for the printer.
Yes.
Yeah.
it actually should. If you've got the network set up right, it should just actually show up when you go to
Well,
try to
sort of.
install.
On the Brother MFCs, there's a script that Brother provides.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
installs
there
the
is.
drivers, it installs the scanner drivers.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at on the Brother website was,
Yeah.
and they've got Linux drivers. So
My
I
So I
know.
bought Brother because Steve recommended Brother, and really they've been good. It's been a good printer up until Gremlin got a hold of it.
Oh,
Brother is pretty Linux friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. My only qualm with them is that script is entirely text and there's a lot of reading in there.
Well, you read online that Brother is very, and that I'm also entertaining what Steve said is getting a Raspberry Pi and setting up a print server.
my when I got the new computer, of course, my Canon didn't work right out of the box. I had to install the print drivers, but I actually had to plug the Canon into the USB port before it finished doing its
Okay.
thing. And once I did all that, it was fine with it being on the network. I was like, what a pain in the, but it worked. I mean, it took it, but I was kind of like you. I was pulling my hair out going, I had this installed on the old machine and it just worked. It just
Yeah.
worked.
Well,
So,
I really didn't want to buy another printer, but now that I got a printer that works perfectly, my stress, because I don't print a lot, but when I want to print, I want to print. If I want to scan, I want to scan. But
Yeah.
you know.
I'm with you, but that was the one thing that I had to do with that was I ran a long USB cord over to the new machine and plugged it in. And as soon as I did it, it said, oh yeah, you've got a Canon printer, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh crap, seriously. And then it showed right up on the network. I didn't have to even, I mean, it was already set up on the network. I didn't have to set it back up or anything. I just had to plug it into the USB port that one time so that
At one time.
the
So it
stupid thing knew that it was there. But I was like you, I was pulling my hair out going, why isn't this printer working? And then I remembered I had to do the same thing the very first time I set it up with the old machine. I had to plug it into the USB port before it realized there was a printer there. So that, I don't know if that's what's going on, but maybe, I mean, you might get lucky.
Yeah.
So basically you take the USB connection out of the printer, plug it into your desktop or
Let
laptop.
it wait a couple of minutes to load up all the software and everything, and then unplug it, and it was fine.
So
it
it
actually-
won't go through the network. It has to have the USB connection.
Well, no. Now that I've done that, it works on the network just fine. But
Somehow the network needed that to happen in order to recognize.
one of the steps after I plugged it in was, is this a network printer or is this a local printer or what?
Local
However
printer,
they worded it.
Yeah. Local
And
printer.
I went, well, it's a network printer. Duh. You should have just found it in the first damn place. So I said a network printer, and then it said, okay, unplug the printer. And I'm like, okay. And it worked.
So you asked those questions while it was plugged in,
Yeah.
even though you designated as a network printer, somehow it acknowledged it out there in space.
But that, that's
But
the
that's-
Canon. And I pretty much had to do the same thing the first time on the old machine. So it's just something that you might try.
Now,
I'm
if
not saying that it's going to work, but it might be
I've got
something to try.
I got a USB cable that I can stretch over to that printer, so I may try that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it never says you have to do that. There's nothing written in the internet. It just
No, and the
dumbass
install,
luck that you tried it.
well, the install script for the Canon doesn't say that it has to be plugged in, especially if it was already set up on the network. It should have just went off and found it. So
I've set up about 24 Brother printers in Linux. I've never had to plug in USB before the network.
Well, I
Leroy just hit the ground and said, "Thank God it's over with. It works."
well, actually, this Canon printer, I was quite surprised when I found it at the thrift store for like $1, and it was a network printer, laser printer.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, a network printer for $1. And then I looked on the Canon website and I was like, oh, they support Linux. No brainer right there.
Nice.
So, and it's been a great printer. It's been, moving to a new machine has been a little squirrely, but
Now, do you buy the inkjets or the like? I buy the laser printer with a powder toner because they don't print that much, and I don't want the ink to dry out.
so this is an older Canon. I don't remember what it is. It's got a duplexer in it. But it was actually cheaper to buy 2 laser toners, refurbed laser toners, than it was to buy 1 Canon laser toner.
Yeah.
I think I paid like $25 for 2 of them. And when I bought it, it still had 70% left in it from the time I bought it. So it's going to last forever. And I will never, ever, it's going to break before I even probably use a second toner.
So how
Why
do you
not?
get,
Do I?
Laser
What?
printers last forever.
Yes, they do. I've
Those
only
la-
I've only broken one, I think, and it had 700 million copies on it. So it was time for it to break. It well served past its life expectancy. It was an HP. HPs make big boats of printers, but they last forever.
Not so much anymore, but yeah, the old ones were great.
yeah, there was a time when you couldn't go wrong by buying an HP printer. But in recent years, I've used only Brother and I think it's Brother is the only thing I've used. And generally speaking, they're pretty reliable. I wouldn't personally have a printer, except that my wife loves to do everything in paper. And so it's a matter of maintaining peace in the family. Has nothing to do with my my preferences. It's one of those
Well,
lists,
like
lists
you
of
gotta mail something back. You need to print the label out to mail it back to Amazon or whatever. That's when I use a printer. Not very often though.
actually when I do it, I set it up online and then I take it to the local UPS store. UPS packs it, puts the labels on it. I don't have to do anything but walk in with it. So they have this arrangement with it's UPS, I guess.
Yeah, they UPS, and also they got a drop-in center for some things over at Kohl's.
Yes, I've dropped stuff off at Kohl's also. The one on 28.
Yep.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't use a printer often. And this is really the first Canon that I've had. And I bought it because it was cheap and a network printer. That was my requirement, was it had to be a network printer and a laser printer. And that was it. That's my requirement. And
it met your budget.
And it
yeah,
more than met my budget.
Hit all the price, hit all the buttons there.
I probably would have bought it if it hadn't officially supported Linux and just forced it to work. because that's the kind of person I am, because it was cheap. But and for a long time, all I would ever buy was HPs. But you're right. The new HPs are kind of garbage. Brother is the new business machine. I mean, they make some pretty solid business printers, business class printers.
Their color laser printers, though, are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And the cartridges are incredibly expensive. So,
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Everybody's color toner cartridges are expensive.
yeah.
Now, they always talk about, Bryant, don't buy proprietary cartridges, and are there good proprietary or non-brother cartridges that you trust, or because they talk about they leak and they can mess up your inside of your printer and all this.
I have a vacuum just for toner when that happens.
Oh, do you?
At one point, I bought a pair of Brother toner cartridges for my current printer. It's a 7820, I think, 7860. I got 2 cartridges for $8.
That's
They
the right
work.
price.
They worked just as well as the ones directly from Brother. I don't know.
So you bought a little vacuum just dedicated to toner sucking.
Actually, no, I swiped it from a job I had
Okay.
unintentionally, but yeah.
I couple of the old HPs I had chips in the toner. And I tried to avoid that. So,
It had chips in the toner.
Yeah.
little microchips, so that date code, so that the printer would say,
Okay.
oh, this toner's expired. No, it's not. Toner doesn't expire. It lasts forever. So HP could sell you another, so you could get down to 20% of toner, and they would sell you another whole toner cartridge.
Well, they make good money off the toner cartridges.
Oh, heck yes.
I suspect they probably don't break even on the printers, but the toner cartridges and ink cartridges, particularly ink cartridges. I was running a laser company back in the 90s, Exmer Laser Companies, and one of the things that goes into a inkjet printer is a membrane that has some very fine holes in it. And the only way you can make them is by using a laser to punch holes in this membrane, very fine holes. You cannot physically create those holes with a punch or whatever. And so we were negotiating with HP to sell them a piece of equipment that would punch the holes for them. And in the course of those negotiations, they said, oh yeah. And this was in 1995 or 6. They said, yeah, inkjet cartridge is a $3.5 billion profit center for us. I thought, you're kidding. $1 billion here, $1 billion there, that's real money. So
Yeah, I got my friends, they're snowbirds and they don't print much, and I said, Roger, you need to buy a laser jet toner printer, because he ends up printing it and the ink dries out, so he's wasting money.
oh yeah.
He goes, I didn't know you could do that. I said, oh yeah. Because I thought they were all ink printers now.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is the ink gets on that membrane I was talking about, has little holes punched in. and dries up. And there is no way you can get that stuff out again.
Yeah.
I saw a printer advertised on TV a few months ago, and it was one. Who's the big, huge basketball player?
Jack.
Yeah, he was advertising, and that one, you have bottles of ink you put in it. I haven't, as I say, I don't use printers much, but I have been tempted to buy one of those just to see how they work. Unfortunately, that doesn't meet my budget. So, but yeah, that seemed like a clever idea. You have multiple cartridges or bottles that are full of ink and so forth and so on, but I don't know how they take care of that membrane thing.
But if you do that, I see that, and that's such a stupid commercial. And Shaq should be whipped. That's an Epson printer you're talking about. And everybody know, if you've ever messed with those dang things, they got tubes, and the ink's going to dry out, and you don't replace the jet. The old one, you replace the cartridge, you replace the jet too. Well,
That's true.
And these guys, the jet goes bad, guess what? Throw away the printer.
Yeah.
That's true then, and it's true now, unless there's something I don't know.
Sort of. If you're dealing with a printer that uses the bottles of ink, you're probably printing more frequently.
That's true.
Epson and HP both do printers that use the bottled ink, and those printers auto print every day. So they keep the ink flowing through them, whether you want it to or not.
That's not me. I print, once every 6 months,
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
And I go up to my inkjet printer and it was dead again. Gee.
Every 3 months, maybe every 6 months. Yeah.
Those,
Yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. I was going to say those bottle printers have been around for years too. I mean, industrial usage has used that.
Okay.
And they used to sell a kit that you could convert an old inkjet printer to use bottles.
I sold copiers in the 1986, 87, and the ink was fairly new. The bottle liquid toner, that was fairly new in the mid 80s, but it's like you said, it's been around for a long time. But then we used to talk about, the auger and keeping because we sold the dry stuff, and then to discount that, we'd say you'd have to take the liquid toner and so gravity would feed it down, and if you didn't slide it right, the ink would leak.
When we had the shop, we had a printer that took boxed ink. It was ink, but it was in a box. It looked like Coca-Cola syrup.
Yeah.
You shove these boxes into the printer, pop a membrane.
This was a liquid. This was not a powder.
It was a liquid. And you would pop, it had like a little membrane on it, and you would push it in there and it would pop that membrane, and you were not taking that bottle or that box back out, because if you did,
it would leak.
It was just nasty.
But the key to that, you have that box in there and you pop the membrane when the box was secure, so it would not leak. The risk of leakage was way down.
Yeah. So that idea of having big containers of ink has been around for a long time. I guess I was going to say, I guess maybe it's becoming more popular in the consumer market, but the industrial market's been using it for a long time.
Well,
My
when they
favorite
market
printer.
those inkjets and stuff, they don't, I mean, I did, when you go to Costco and stuff, I mean, I bought this at Costco, but I bought it online, but you go to the store and they have all the liquid printers usually there at the store. They're not
Mhm.
pushing the toner.
My first color printer was a Star Micronics in about 1987 or 8. And it used ketchup packets of ink. Open up a tray on the top and set them in there. And when you close the tray, it'd puncture the little ketchup packets with a hypo needle.
Yep.
It was a neat little printer. It worked pretty well. It continuously pumped the ink and then used 2 plates of electrostatic discharge to aim the stream of ink at the paper or not. It wasn't very good resolution, but it wasn't too bad.
So basically this spit out an ink droplet and then used the electrostatic plates to deflect that droplet in a particular direction.
Yep. And it would go back into a reservoir or onto the paper.
Huh. It's a clever concept.
One
lot of
of the best color printers that I ever had was an old Tektronix phaser.
Oh, yeah.
You remember those things?
Yep.
Took
I've been
crayons.
looking for one. Xerox bought Tektronix, and for a while Xerox was selling the dye sub or the wax transfer printers pretty inexpensively,
Mhm.
and the blocks of wax were cheap.
Cheap.
They were $10 each for, I think it was like you get a box of 5 magentas, 5 yellows, and 5 green and 5 blue or 5 black.
Yep.
For $30.
Yep.
They smelled so good. Like warm
I
crayon.
love those things. I mean, they weren't necessarily the fastest thing in the world, but the prints were always nice. I mean, you get the first couple of prints off that where the ink or where the crayon had just started to melt, throw those away and start printing more, and
Yeah.
beautiful prints.
Yeah, they were selling those up until about 2005 or so.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, Xerox was trying desperately to sell them, and they just couldn't.
They had to market them right, because anybody that used one loved them, but if you didn't use them, it sounded weird. What, you're using wax? What?
Just don't leave the print sitting on your dashboard in the car.
Right. There was another one. I forget what it was. It was basically a drum printer. I think Tektronix made it too. It took
This is the Tektronix oscilloscope company?
Yep.
Same company, huh?
They made output devices. They made some beautiful terminals too.
they made I forget what this printer was, but it was basically a mimeograph machine that was connected to a parallel port.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fast. That thing would knock copies off quick. The biggest issue with it was it could only do one color at a time, because you had to change the colors. So you had to
Oh.
get the paper lined all back up correctly if you wanted to do multiple colors.
Was that a plate machine?
It was yeah, kind of. It was a spinning feely
Drum.
drum.
Hmm.
It was it looked like a laser printer and a mimeograph machine got together, had a wild night, and that was its weird offspring.
Nice.
But it was that thing. I mean, the first couple of copies usually didn't take real well. But once you got the ink flowing in there and it went everywhere that it was supposed to, I mean, it looked like, production paper magazine quality copy. I mean, it was awesome. And it was, I think we could do like 3 reams of paper in 20 minutes, something like that.
Nice.
So it was useful where you were doing a high number of the same copy of things, not the one-off.
Not the one-off. No, if you were doing a one-off thing, you'd probably, because it took a while to set it up, right? I mean, you have to put the ink in and you had to prime it and do all that. So if you were only doing 1 or 2, it's better to run it through an inkjet or something. But if you were, if you needed 1,500 copies of something or 2,000 copies of something and you needed them relatively quickly, that was the way to go. So we had a standing order of like 2,000 menus, and we usually did 2,200 menus for them because, at that speed, things get a little misshapen or whatever. And so we could throw away some of them and we were still making good money off of it. But like I said, the biggest problem was if they wanted 2 colors or 3 colors, getting the pages lined back up right to get them to go through the machine again. That was the biggest problem with them.
You were talking about price leaders before. I don't remember what the name of the company was, but at one point HP spun off a child company, and they were selling printers at Sam's Club for $22 that could use
Awesome.
8 print cartridges that were $24.
Yeah,
It didn't come with a cartridge.
yeah. Those are the good old days. You get printers cheap. Just not cartridges.
One of the few pieces of computer equipment I ever took back.
I know when Edwin, the kid, the youngest, when he was in school, he bought I think it was an Epson. It was a piece of junk Epson, but he bought it because it was cheaper than buying the ink tank for the printer. So by the time he was done with school, he had like 7 or 8 of these Epson printers sitting there because it was cheaper to buy the printers than it was to buy the ink. And I said, what are you going to do with all that? I don't know. It's cheaper to buy the printer than it is to buy the ink.
It's actually pretty easy to take one of the Epson printers and turn it into a 3D printer that does plaster. You refill the tank with water and put real thin layers of plaster down and print with water what your layer looks like.
That would be cool. Of course,
Yeah.
I no longer have Epson printers because those went away a long, long time ago. But
Really?
That's what Shaq's selling. That's Shaq selling the Epson printers, inkjets.
They don't have Epson anymore. I thought they did.
Yeah, they're everything. Shaq is, that's what Shaq's
No.
on the table advertising.
The kid, he moved out of the house and his printer.
Okay.
He got rid of those printers a long time ago. But when he was in school, that was his thing. This printer costs $22 and the ink cartridge costs $28. And they give you a full ink cartridge. Okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. Until one day they did.
After I got married, my first color printer was an Epson stylus, when that was the brand new shiniest color printer you could buy. And I got that thing when I bought a 486 at Sun. And then Sun went out of business, or was about to go out of business. And I returned the 486, but the salesman that sold me this 486 DX280, I think, while I'm leaving, he's just shoving software in that printer in the cart. And he rang me out, and he didn't charge me for any of that stuff. That was a $700 printer, and he gave it to me.
Well, that's nice.
I think Sun was bought by Oracle, weren't they?
No, not Sun Microsystems. It was a local, I don't know if they were local or not.
They
It
were
was
up in Columbus too.
yeah.
They were like a Swallens or a H.H. Gregg, weren't they?
Yep. They got bought by H.H. Gregg.
Okay.
And it was a 2-week purchase. Sun went out of business. H.H. Gregg sprang up in the same buildings with the same stuff and the same employees, but not honoring any of their old warranties.
Ah,
That's why I
H.H.
don't
Gregg
shop
was
at
out.
H.H. Gregg.
H.H. Gregg was out of Indianapolis. And then when all this internet stuff came on, they ended up going out of business. H.H. Gregg did.
Well, they were in business up until just a year or so ago, because there was one on Route 32 close to Jungle Gyms,
Yeah,
right
I
down
think
there.
it's still there.
No, it's not. That building is now occupied by something else. The last time we were there, we drove by it, and H.H. Gregg wasn't in that building anymore. They shared that building with some kind of a financial company too, but they're gone, and there's somebody else in there in where the space they occupied.
Yeah, the
David-
H.H. Gregg in Hamilton and the one on King's, near King's Auto Mall, they went out of business years ago. And my cousin worked for the one in Hamilton, and he said they were out of Indianapolis. That's where they started.
At any rate, no, it was there up until there, close to Jungle Gyms, until, I don't know, about a year ago or so, when they closed it down. And
They really they really grew when like Steinberg's and Swallens went out of business. H.H. Gregg and then Sun was their
so this wasn't Sun Computer that was bought by Oracle. This was some kind of a local distributor or a regional distributor, I take it.
Yep.
Yeah, big box electronics. They were in Columbus, Sun was.
They had a couple of locations in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Yep. And like you said, they were in business, and like they went out of business like that. And I get, like you said, I didn't know H.H. Gregg bought them out. Because for years, Peyton Manning was a spokesperson for H.H. Gregg, and that's when he played for an Indianapolis Colts.
I thought he played for Colorado.
He did. He won second Super Bowl with Colorado, but he played for like 10 years at Indianapolis first.
Oh, okay.
He won one Super Bowl at Indianapolis with who's the guy? The black guy that does Sunday Night Football, the ex-coach. Tony, I can't remember his name. And then he went for his last year, he went to Colorado and they won the Super Bowl and then he retired. Tony,
Now he does sportscasting.
yeah, Tony Dungy, yeah. Well, he owns a lot of Papa John's too. He was a big Papa John's guy because they were out of like Kentuckiana, Louisville, and a lot of Indianapolis. So he owns a bunch of those franchises. Hey, just show how exciting, on the 16th of November, the Costco on Cox Road and Hamilton Mason Road is going to open up.
Where's this now?
It's right near where Christ Hospital is, Cox off the highway. It's on the corner of Cox Road and Hamilton Mason Road or Liberty. Yeah, Hamilton. I think it's.
Isn't there one already up there?
No, there's one at Tri-County. They're going to shut the one at Tri-County down and they're building, it's 160,000 plus square feet. And I think they're going to have 28 or 30 gas pumps there.
Oh, so they're replacing the one that's up there.
Yeah, they're going to replace the one at Tri-County. Then we're going to make that a business center and they, they're going to shut it down. And what it is they're open to Tri-County and they keep that open to the 15th. The next day they open the other one up there at Cox Road, which is like 2 miles from my apartment.
So there's also one in Sharonville.
That's going to go shut down on November 15th.
So that's the one you're talking about is shutting down?
Sharonville shutting down and the one at Cox Road in Liberty Township is going to open up the next day. 160,000 square feet plus. And they're going to have a big booze section. You're like, that's what I heard.
So you're talking about the one in Sharonville. You're not talking about the one that's over there in Mason.
They don't have one in Mason. The one it's in Deerfield Township. Yeah. They're going to have Deerfield Township and the one in Liberty Center in Liberty Township, and Sharonville shutting down on the 15th of November, and the new one's going to open up on the 16th of November.
Okay. Well, my wife will want to know about that because she's a Costco addict. I mean,
I'm not an addict, but I'm a member.
Well, I mean, we became members before Costco existed. There was, I think, Cost Plus and somebody else merged and Costco became the offspring. At least that was here in California,
Yeah.
which is, by the way, where it was originated. And then
the other one, the Costco now is from Kirkland, Washington. That's where their headquarters are.
yeah, but the retail sites were
In California.
originated in California.
Gotcha. I've been a member since 2013. I get my executive membership every year and I always get my money out of it. And I don't buy a lot of stuff in bulk, but I still, between the gas and everything else, I get my money out of it.
Yeah, we started when I set up the business in '82, and we were with one of the predecessor. I think it was Cost Plus or something like that.
Okay.
And then when the merger happened in the late '80s, the early '90s, we ended up at Costco, and then originally they weren't in the Midwest at all, because we would go to Columbus, which is where all my family is. And she was really excited when they opened up one in Columbus. And then when we bought the house in Milford, she discovered there were two of them, one in Sharonville and one over in, it isn't Mason, what is it, Deerfield?
It's Deerfield Township. It's right near Mason. They call it Mason, but it's Deerfield Township.
Yeah.
But I joined Costco in 2013 when they had one in Columbus and Polaris, and right as I moved, they were building one right next to the Easton Mall in Gahanna. So
Yeah,
they got two in now there's one in Centerville off of Austin Pike up near Dayton, and that's a huge one. And I think it's the one here on Liberty Township's going to be like the one in Centerville, huge.
I think there's one down in Kentucky, isn't there?
Yeah, Florence. Yep. An old guy, he's been dead for 2 or 3 years. He lived at Cottingham there in Sharonville. He'd go every day to eat the get a piece of pizza or the long dog and the drink for $1.50
Yeah,
every day.
Yeah, I missed that. $1.50 for a foot long and a Pepsi. Yeah.
I think they still have it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. And
They
you don't
still
have to
have the-
have the permit to get them either. You can just walk in. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to have a membership to eat there. Now they still have the roasted chickens for $4.99, which they lose on those big time, but they said they'll never raise the price.
Sam's Club has a few things that they keep cheap to compete with Costco.
I used to be a Sam's member years ago, but I haven't been for long. There's one at Tri-County, and then there's one in North Bend Road, and then one out in Eastgate. But a lot of them have closed, haven't they?
Yeah, there's one in Eastgate is a quarter mile east of Jungle Gyms there.
Yeah,
It's fairly close to you, Steve.
it's walking distance.
It's walking distance. Well, when I was a kid, everything was walking distance. But it's a question of it's a question of how far are you going to walk?
Right now I could walk there in less than 20 minutes.
Yeah. So you're north of 32?
No, I'm just south of Old 74, right next to Glen Estee Withamsville, or next to, yeah, Glen Estee Withamsville.
Well, that's north of 32 though, right?
No. Old 74 zigzags back and forth. And at that point, it's south of, I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, I'm north. I'm north.
You're north of 32, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we when we're in Ohio, we hit 32 fairly frequently. Jungle Gyms being one of the high points.
Yep. I was there
Yeah.
yesterday, I think.
You don't have to go to Fairfield to go to Jungle Gyms anymore.
No, they put that in about 2012 or
It's been there
2013.
for a while.
13, about almost 10 years ago. I have actually never been to the one in Fairfield. I've been to the one in whatever that is, going out towards
Eastgate.
Batavia, Eastgate. I've been there, probably a couple of hundred times at this point, but I have never been to the original one.
Yep.
I'm the designated cart pusher.
He's got at Fairfield, they got the monorail out there, and I think they got that for free or close to free. Because
Well,
King Island was getting rid of it, and he wanted to put it up there, so.
Well, the one down in Eastgate, they've got a section of the monorail.
Oh, they do? They got that there too, huh?
Well, it's only 150 feet long or something in that order, I think. Isn't that about right, Steve?
Yeah. If
Well,
that,
that's what they have at Fairfield. It's just a stretch with it doesn't operate or anything. It's just there for looks, I guess.
it looked like they were going to make it operate in Fairfield, to run between Jungle Gyms and not conventions. There's a
Yeah, venue,
I can't
like
think of
a
the word.
banquet hall or some.
Yeah, there's a banquet hall behind there. And they didn't. I actually went in. I talked with Jungle Jim at one point, Jim Bonamino,
Yeah.
and asked if I could work on that thing for him, get it functional again. When I worked at Kings Island, that was one of the things I used to work on.
Oh, you worked on it when it was at Kings Island?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool toy. I was out in Lion Country Safari once late. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I'm leaning up against a window, drinking a soda, just contemplating what all I'd been through that day, trying to figure out how to get some stuff working. And the window is vibrating, and I turn around and I shield my eyes and look in, and a leopard about 8 inches away opened its eyes. Terrified me.
Well, as long as he's on the other side of the glass, is, you know.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
is it true there was like a guard or something that he had to go to the bathroom, so he got out of his car and a lion mauled him out there?
Yep.
That's what the story was. He had to go to the bathroom and kill him.
Yeah. He
The
had his
lion.
own toilet paper with him.
Oh, he
Could've
had
just
toilet
a
paper?
little bit.
I heard that story. I never knew if it was true or not.
It's true. Hold on. I can get you more information on that one.
Did he survive?
No, he died. He got killed. He got mauled.
He got very dead.
So would he been out there before? Why would he have a roll of toilet paper already there? You know?
Apparently he had done that before.
Okay, that got him the last time.
He was
I'd
kind of
rather-
asshole to the
I would have
animals.
rather had an accident in my pants than been mauled by a tiger or a lion or whatever.
I think one would cause the other.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a grisly death, to say the least. That's right up there with getting eaten by an alligator.
Yep. Man.
So Steve, how are you liking the Germans so far?
It's fun. It's interesting.
You traveling at all for them, or strictly?
Well, no, I take that back. As a welcome to new employees, they flew everybody that had started with Siemens the year that I started out to Wilsonville, Oregon, to show us the facility there. I didn't understand why. I still don't, but whatever. That cost about $3,000 per person. Crazy.
That's
said,
just
"Hell."
that's just a welcome aboard, I guess.
Yep.
So did you go to fine dinners and all that stuff while you were out there? Or
Yeah,
that's good.
did pretty well.
So where is Wilsonville relative to Portland or any place else?
I flew into Portland, picked up a rental car and drove to Wilsonville. It was 12 miles south.
So it's going down the Willamette River. not going west.
Okay,
Because west is where all of the Intel plants and labs and so forth. You go over the ridge and it's west of Portland. I like Portland a lot. They have a great light rail, which within the city limits is free.
really?
Yes.
I
Only
didn't
within
see-
the city limits.
I didn't
You-
see any part of that.
Well, you just rented a car at the airport and headed south. So you probably didn't spend much time in Portland, did you?
No. Honestly, Portland was kind of depressing.
Really?
Yeah.
You must have been going through the industrial parts or something. I don't know.
A lot of homeless encampments.
That's what I understand. The last few years, it's really been a haven for homeless people.
Well, there's a lot of homeless camps on the West Coast, period. Certainly the San Francisco Bay Area is no exception.
Are you guys seeing the shared screen that I tried to share?
Yeah, with the looked like a big old tube in the printer.
Yeah. I cannot unshare it. I have clicked stop sharing.
It's not
I-
shared anymore.
I don't see it. I
Yeah.
saw kind of a script there where you cut and pasted. But
It was only a very short period of time.
So it's not there.
it's not there.
Uh,
It was there for a few minutes and then gone. I've hit the chat button. Oh, Kings Island.
well, I'm not seeing you guys, and I've clicked stop sharing a half a dozen times and nothing's happening over here. Zoom is broken.
So you are still seeing,
I'm still
Right.
sharing my screen according to them.
well, all five of us are here on the gallery view.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Well, maybe
you
I
ch-
should.
Have you changed versions of Zoom recently?
I just installed a new version of Zoom today. It told me there was an upgrade. So yes.
That'll
Yes.
teach.
That teaches me, right?
I was gonna say, that's like using the first release of a new version of Microsoft operating system. Yeah, you
Is
wait
that a-
till they get the bugs gone.
Is that a sleeping cat, Jim, or a dead cat?
That's a sleeping cat.
Okay.
That's Foofer when he was sleeping. That's on my TV. It's the default screen. It said, I got a chip plugged in the USB port, and that's the picture that's on it. And periodically it popped up. First, I didn't know where the heck it came from, but that's Foofer. He's good. He's a professional. Do not try this at home.
Anyway, that printer, that thing's called a risograph. And that's the thing that we didn't have that particular model. But that's the thing that's like a mimeograph for that you hook up to the computer. And
a risograph.
it's called a risograph, and they are big. They're huge. Ours was probably, that one looks like one of the bigger models. But that drum thing, that one's got red on it. that's what you replace that whole entire drum to change the color. So
It looks like one of those tube chambers that you put into the thing to send to the bank teller. on the other
Kinda.
side of the window.
kind of. But I can't get, I don't know what's
Pneumatic.
going on.
Pneumatic tube.
Yep. Yeah, it kind of does. I can't get back to where I was.
I saw the thing about the guy getting mauled by the lion there in the chat. Steve posted.
This is not fun. I'm going to try to give, I don't know if this is going to work or not, Steve. I'm going to try to give you control.
Okay.
I can't. Now that's not working. What the? Remote
When in doubt,
control.
reboot.
Or Steve should have control.
It
Maybe
still
you-
says you're the meeting presenter.
Of course it does.
Well, yeah, that's the name.
Oh, it really doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
Maybe you could force me to stop. I don't know. It
I-
probably does. It probably doesn't even say I'm sharing, doesn't?
It doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, I am going to see if I could just get out of this.
Here, while we're sharing pictures of screen or of printers,
I can't see anything, so I'm just going to try to get out and
Okay,
come
wait a
back.
minute. There's you're now sharing a printer of a picture of a Xerox something or another.
yeah, that's one I'm sharing. That's a Xerox 6135. That's
As
100.
big as a bus.
It's 135 page per minute. It'll actually go a little faster than that. We were able to push ours beyond 140 when we needed to. That will print a book. You send it a print job and tell it to finish to bind it in a book, and it spits out a hardbound manual. Beautiful piece of equipment. The computer that's sitting at the end of it there on the ground, that is a Sun.
That unit cost.
That I got, you got
How much?
interrupted.
How much did that machine cost?
Cost? About
Yeah.
$3.5 million.
Wow. I thought that was how many copies it would do in a year.
Oh, no. No. It would make many, many, many more copies than that in a year.
$3.5 million.
That printer would correlate and bind and do all kinds of stuff, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. To make books.
Yeah, the coolest binding it would do was a hardbound book. They had an aluminum crimp edge in them and a hydraulic press, and it would just, you'd buy the binding depending on how thick you wanted it. They had like 10 to 50 pages, 30 to 100, 70 to 200, that sort of thing. And you'd load up a bunch of bindings, start printing, and it would literally spit out a printed book.
Yeah. I saw a couple of those go up for auction before, and they never brought anywhere near what they were worth, but they always brought way more than what I wanted to spend. And then they're huge, so you would need like a semi truck to move the stupid thing.
Yeah, it was about 30, 35 feet long.
Yeah, it would also cost you a fortune to run it too, I would imagine.
Not too bad. I mean, we we could print, package, and ship stuff cheaper than most people could just print it.
Really?
Yeah. One of the things that I was maintaining was a piece of software that we bought from the post office before they realized what its value was. We had an in perpetuity license and guaranteed updates for the database of all of the addresses in the US in the order that they were walked. So when other people would do pre-sort, they'd go, oh, this is all for zip code 45150. We would go, this is for 45150, and it's for Postman Joe, and it's already in order for the route that he's walking. And I mean, we were paying less than half of what postage cost for normal stuff. We got some great deals. The owner of that company that I worked for, a fellow named Sam, he was a cutthroat dealer. He was the one person I've ever worked with that I would never want to cross, but he treated his employees well. He took care of his people. It was one of my favorite jobs, second after working at Kings Island. We got updates for that software every 2 months. And I had to rebuild the database every 2 months for every mail address in the US.
Yeah, that's what that printer was, wasn't it? It was some sort of mailing thing, wasn't it?
It was just a printer, but it
could
had
stamp and
extras.
label and
Oh yeah, it had
Yeah.
extras thrown in from Xerox to make it do other stuff. So the server on the end of it, that was a Sun Fiery server. It was designed for ripping PostScript, and it had a custom Xerox built card in it just to handle the SCSI interface. It was covered with Xilinx processors and
forgot about the Sun Rip servers. Those things were pretty awesome back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I learned a lot of Unix on.
Yeah.
This was in the 80s, right?
90s.
90s.
90s. Okay.
I worked for them up until 2010.
Yeah.
No, that's not right.
Steve
2007.
forgets.
Yeah. I worked for him for 11 years.
There's that mesh router I was telling you about.
I have issues with routers that have microphones.
This one doesn't have a microphone, I don't think.
Why would you put a microphone on a router?
So
This
it can
is
hear
just-
you.
This is just a mesh system.
It's sold by Amazon. And
Well,
it's
Amazon bought them. Amazon bought Eero, and I put a link up to in the chat. Took
Yeah.
me, they're really easy to install. I mean, really.
They're not trying to use those mesh networks to extend the sidewalk, are they?
No, not that I know of, but it definitely extends the signal out. So my switches work and it doesn't drop.
Yeah.
My echo dots don't drop. My lights work.
See, you are an Amazon person.
Stretch them out and they all talk to each other. So it's like a spider web. It just extends that signal. And they're not that expensive, especially if you get them on sale. Plus, I don't have to rent Zytel anymore from Cincinnati Bell for $10 a month, plus the extender. You know, I kept saying, well, you can use another router, but we won't tell you and we won't show you how, you know. And then I walked in there and I didn't buy it from them because I could have bought two for what they were wanting to sell. And I went online and I bought it. And then I read about it. So. I was, yeah, about $18 a month. I was renting all that stuff every month. Of course,
So
if it breaks, you just take it back to them and they give you another one. So.
Oh, what happened to Vicente?
I don't know. We're all having problems. Don't upgrade. Don't
We're-
upgrade the software.
Yeah, we're almost towards the end anyway. Maybe he
Yeah.
decided to go eat dinner or something.
What I know right now is I've got 3 different video files going because this thing, you know, hosed up on me.
So you just stitch them together, right?
I will try. That may or may not make any sense about what's going on.
Hey, Leroy, as far as I know, I turned Sidewalk off on all my Alexa stuff.
Yeah. That's the one feature that I didn't really like about the Alexa stuff.
That's Big Brother getting too, it's like
Too big brother, too big brothery.
Yeah, getting into.
So for my edification, since I'm not an Alexis person, what is Sidewalk?
Well,
It says that it enhances delivery and everything, but they're allowed to use your Wi-Fi to help talk to other stuff for deliveries and stuff in your neighborhood.
it's so you've got it like an Amazon Dot or an Echo or something, and that that can set up a small mesh with your neighbor's Dot, which can then connect to their neighbor's Dot, which can connect to another neighbor's Dot. And if the theory is if somebody loses internet connectivity because it's connected to a mesh, somebody's going to have internet connectivity in that area, and you'll still be able to get your notifications. And I guess they're using it for like the camera, the doorbell camera, and the other things like that. But
They got 9
It's-
kinds of help. Yeah, they got 9 kinds of help because they activated it without you asking.
yeah, they went ahead and said, well, everybody's going to want this, so they turned it on every device. And then supposedly it's on a subnet or a weird frequency that you shouldn't be able to get, but you know, if you've got the right tools, you could connect to it, and it's only supposed to use like 1% of your bandwidth or something. But there's no guarantee because they don't really tell you, you know, if you don't know about it, it's turned on automatically. So that's one of the things, you know, I guess they finally fixed it so you could turn it off in an app or something. But
Yeah.
that was one of the things that, like, I was like, no, I'm throwing this Dot in a drawer because I don't want that. I don't want to share my,
Yeah,
my,
that's
my
spooky.
bandwidth with anybody.
That's way spooky.
Yeah,
You know, I don't want to share with my neighbors. I'm not antisocial. I just don't want to share with my
I don't
neighbors.
I don't blame you.
yeah, I mean, the anytime you share something like that, the potential of somebody hacking into your network is there, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Very
even if it is
Orwell.
on some weird sub frequency or something, but that was the thing that got me was, okay, give us the option or whatever. But I think when they first rolled it out, they didn't even have it. I don't think they told anybody they were doing it. They just did it, which was like,
Okay. I'm glad I didn't know about it.
well,
And I don't
They were
have.
well with, they were
Pardon?
well within the end user license agreement, though.
yeah, we'll do whatever we want because
Yeah,
nobody
but,
reads the end user
I was
license
gonna
agreement.
say, typical EULA is what, 25 pages long of the insomniac's solution to sleep.
Yeah. But
No,
that's- My understanding of how it works, it was on a different subnet or sub frequency of whatever. And it was only supposed to use like 1% of your bandwidth. It wasn't supposed to be like a huge trickle of thing. And it was only supposed to be used for notifications, but it's still the idea is it's sharing part of my Wi-Fi.
Nah.
I'm
Not in
pretty
this.
sure the, pretty
what?
sure the Zycel modems do that too.
I know, I think, Time Warner was doing that for a while, but I think they got in trouble for it.
Cincinnati Bell also.
Here's a link to what sidewalk is and how to turn it off.
Cool. We are down to about a minute. So I am going to shut this thing down and try to convert video files and stitch them all back together and everything. And I guess we're going to be live next week, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where? Midpoint?
Yep.
Live in color.
Huzzah.
Hmm?
All right.
Okay.
I will see everybody next week.
Good
Take
night.
care.
See you
Okay.
later.
Bye.
Have a good week.